But anyway, welcome back to the Edge Podcast, Geraldine.
Thank you.
Councilwoman for Henderson, North Carolina. Ward, what ward is that?
That's Ward One.
Ward One. Now, you coming on today, you're not representing, well, I'm gonna let you got a disclaimer you want to put in before we get started, because I got a bunch of questions for you, and I don't want to get you in trouble with the people or with your bosses or your workmates or whatever, but anything you want to say before we get started?
Well, let's start off by saying my boss, the earthly bosses are the people that elected me.
Okay.
But my disclaimer includes the fact that I came on the edge because I had some things that I wanted to say. And it does not reflect upon the city council, my job, or any other entities that I may be associated with. These are my own personal opinions. I'm not speaking on behalf of the city council. I'm speaking on behalf, as first, a private citizen that represents the people in my ward.
Okay. Now, you and I had talked briefly before this, and after I had talked to you, I went back and I got a subscription to the Henderson Daily Dispatch.
Okay.
Also, I found out that you guys have a YouTube channel that people can go to and watch the city council meetings on
Correct.
live streaming, right?
Yes.
Also, and I watched that. Also, I couldn't see the whole audience, but what's the capacity of that room that it holds people that may want to come to the council meeting?
Well, I can safely say at least 30.
About 30 people?
About 30. However, the police department and the fire department monitors the capacity it can be in that room.
Okay, I understand. Okay. And yeah, I did see some people there at that meeting that I was watching, well, live streaming. But then I noticed there's only like as far as subscriptions, only about 80 some people that are subscribed to the channel. Population in Henderson was about 15,000 maybe.
Yes.
Roughly, yeah. But
Yes.
just looking at the subscription number, that doesn't mean that's, those number of people actually watching. But
Then you also have to factor in that some of them may be getting the hard copy subscriptions as well.
Okay.
And then there are people like me that every now and then, because I don't have a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
I don't plan on ever getting a subscription because the newspaper, the way that it used to be, it's not the same way. The people that are running the newspaper now, it's in my opinion that they only run what sells the newspaper. So pretty much any and all bad news that pertain to the city council, they'll put it in there, and there's very little coverage when it comes down to things that are positive.
Okay.
So I pretty much get if it's something that I might be interested in, or if I go in going to the grocery store or a convenience store and there's a newspaper, I may grab a newspaper here. So probably this is June, and I probably have gotten maybe about 7 newspapers in this half a year.
Okay.
So I don't just buy the newspaper.
I got you. Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get started, and then if you don't answer some of the questions while you're talking that I may have here, then I may want to ask you some questions. Okay. But what is it you want to maybe shine some light on that's going on?
Well, there's been so much negative publicity here in Henderson about this city council. And it was a challenge at first from the very beginning, from day one. From the time that we ran for election, our mayor, she ran twice. She had a runoff because the numbers were not high enough to place her into the seat. But she went back and she re-ran, and the numbers put her there. So there's been a challenge since we've gotten into those positions. We've been questioned about several things. One of the biggest items that we've been questioned about has been the taxes. Well, we were told that we didn't understand that the people of Henderson were suffering behind the taxes. With all cities, there is going to be some type of tax increase. However, when we passed the budget this time, there was not an increase. Our primary thought, well, my primary thought, because like I said, I can't speak on behalf of the council. The taxes were raised. We were probably about maybe a guesstimate 6 to 10 officers down. We had officers that were coming in, get their training, move on to other places that pay more money. So in order to recruit and retain those officers, we had to have at least a matching salary in order to keep them here. And just like with any other increase, the people that are, in my opinion, the people that were crying and complaining the most about the taxes were the people that could pay them. They wanted progress, but they didn't want to understand, or they tried to pretend like they didn't understand that with progress there has to be some type of tax increase.
Right.
I can remember during the time that I campaigned, I had one man to follow across the parking lot. Thank you for raising our taxes. And I looked at him, I said, are you thanking me too for the equity that you got on your house? Because your house is worth more this year than it was last year. So I guess they didn't understand that we were not the dummies that they portrayed us to be. So yes, we have more officers now. It's not as short. The crime rate has slowed down. Now it hasn't stopped. It'll never stop. We're going to have a crime rate, unfortunately, like we do. We're going to have a crime rate. But in the meantime, we have officers to respond to those calls. It was a challenge at first because we didn't have enough officers. Even our police chief was working shifts. He was not doing it the part of the administrative part that he could have been doing because he had to be out on the street with the others. And I didn't see that as being fair. I didn't see it as being fair. So now we have more officers. The response time seems to vary. It's a little bit better. And in those neighborhoods that have those gunshots and people going fast up and down the street, that I think in my ward, I think that meant a lot. But then you have those wards that don't have those type of things, or those, in my opinion, those things that are not being addressed. Because in some of the more upstanding communities, some of the high-rated tax-paying citizens don't have to go through what some of us have to go through. We hear gunshots and immediately, I mean, if I hear a gunshot, it's like, okay, first thing I got to do is hit the floor and call 911. They don't have to go through that. So it was important that we change the tax base so that we can find some officers to address those issues, so that emergency personnel could always be who they are supposed to be.
Okay.
Now, about my concerns. I've gone through the streets. I ride all over Henderson for the most part, particularly in the area that I represent. And it's amazing that in some of these areas, the grass has grown high in the ditches. But those things that need to be done are not being done. They talk about cleaning up Henderson. That's wonderful. That's all great. Group of people get out, they go out and pick up trash, the ones that do. But outside of picking up that trash, it's the tall weeds and the tall grass. That's not being addressed. And I feel like that's bad because it's not being addressed because of personal agendas.
This is city maintenance that you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Um, there are some things that's more important than others, in my opinion. The appearance of our city when people from outside of our city ride through, or the appearance of our city when people that used to stay here rides through, is not a reflection of the community exactly,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more a reflection of the people that are supposed to be doing the job.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um, as a child, I grew up here in Henderson, and as a child, I didn't know who were homeowners or who were renters
Mm-hmm.
because the houses matched. Homeowners had their grass cut. Most all renters, as a child, have their grass cut.
Mm-hmm.
The whole neighborhood was uniformed. So you didn't know if this person was renting in that house or they owned that house because they took a lot of care in what they had.
Right.
Now it's a different dynamic. Things are totally different. I am a renter, but I don't like snakes. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep my grass cut.
Right.
Even if I have to get out there and do it myself, I don't want a lot of stuff around me. I want to be able to go outside and see what's in the yard before I go in the yard. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't take pride in where they stay.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side of that, I cut my grass and I look across the street in the ditch, and that grass has been cut one time since I've been here. And I called and asked them to come cut the grass. That
Mm-hmm.
should not be anything that the residents have to do.
That's right.
And I think it's too much focus on the unnecessary or the things that don't mean as much as maintaining our city for potential people to come that want to come in and stay here, or
Mm-hmm.
businesses.
Right. So in your ward, like you said, you cruise around your ward. Also, you go in the other wards around town. Um, Now, is it uniform maintenance? I mean, are they doing the same thing in other neighborhoods? Now, you and I grew up in the same neighborhood. Before you answer that question, Flint Hill,
Mhm.
and I left Flint Hill coming up be 50 years ago uh,
Right.
in July. And I come back and forth to Henderson. I still have a sister that lives there, and last time I drove through Flint Hill, I always go through Flint Hill when I come home. Uh,
Right.
it hadn't changed much. Some of them same old trees are still there that was there when I was there, and the tops of the trees have grown across from one side
It's,
to the other, and it's almost like you driving through a damn tunnel.
it
You
is.
where like I said, I'm not a tree surgeon or whatever the hell you call them, but it seems to me someone should be maintaining those tree limbs. Uh, because I can imagine what it's like at night. I mean, I say it to myself. Although I grew up on Flint Hill, I said, Lord, I don't want to have to walk through here at nighttime. With all of this trees. I don't know what the street lights are like over in that area. Like you said, I did see a lot of tall grass in areas that maybe it wasn't houses. Houses were there at one time, but now it's like an empty lot, and like you said, the grass is probably waist high. So
You know,
so so in other neighborhoods, I mean, is it uniform maintenance going on, or are they, doing better in some neighborhoods than others? You
in
pay
my opinion,
everybody's paying taxes, but go ahead.
in my opinion, the neighborhoods in which predominantly Black or
Mm-hmm.
people of color stay in does not look as good as the houses that's down on Oxford Road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, on Oxford Road, there's a high tax base.
Okay.
However, we're all in the city together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just my belief that if the streets can be swept because of the curving on Oxford Road, or because the tax base is higher, it should all be uniform. And it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were to ride through my area right now, And I won't disclose exactly what street I'm on because I know somebody is probably going to see this podcast and I don't want them to know where I stay.
Mhm.
But if you ride through the area that I represent, you see overgrowth.
Mhm.
You do. You see overgrowth. I spoke to a lady that complained about the Flint Hill area and the curving and how far the bushes were out, where it was obstructing traffic.
Mhm.
She said she made several phone calls and has not been addressed. Um, I've made a phone, like I said, I did make a phone call to the city manager,
Mhm.
and it wasn't too long thereafter before the overgrowth in front of my house was corrected.
Okay.
But I just don't believe there are trucks on the street all the time. City trucks are on the street all the time.
Mhm.
And I just feel like it is important because I know um as the city manager, he does not know where all these things are. But I just feel like at some point he needs to be out and about checking these streets,
Mhm.
checking the community, knowing what he has to address. And on the flip side of that, there was a lady that complained about a particular house over near the Flint Hill area that had appliances there.
Mhm.
They fixed it.
Okay.
They whatever it was that they did, I have not seen another complaint, heard of another complaint about that.
Mhm.
Then there was this store uptown, and the same lady complained about stuff being on the sidewalk. That was addressed. So it makes me feel like, depending on who does the addressing, it
Mhm. Okay.
depends on how fast the work gets done.
I got you. I got you. You know, I was I want to stay on that, but your city manager, I was I read a column in the Daily Dispatch. What is the guy's name? Tyler Davis.
Yes.
I think he wrote on, and I saw something in there about the city manager is. I don't know if you can elaborate on it or even want to elaborate on it. Is got some kind of a scandal going on with him. Maybe his plate is too full for him to get out there and cruise around the town and see what's going on. I don't know. I don't know if you can elaborate on it or if it's even worth talking about.
Well, I'll touch bases with it as much as I can.
And if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
I don't have a problem talking about
Okay.
anything.
Because I just
Um,
want to. I just want to know.
okay. So you said you read the article?
I read the article that Tyler Davis wrote that the city manager was had some kind of a sex scandal going on. I even got the young lady's name here, which I won't mention, but it's all in the it's in the paper if anybody wants to see it. Uh,
Well,
but yeah,
first of all, near the beginning, I said negative news is what the newspaper thrive on.
hmm
That's what sell their newspaper.
okay,
Um, I do not agree that anybody that have those particular things going on should their names ever be put in the newspaper until they make it public.
hmm
I do not agree with that.
hmm
I do not agree with that. I think it was poor journalism. So I don't agree with that. However, there was a post on Facebook that was made one late Friday night, early Saturday morning.
hmm
And he put it, the city manager put that out there,
right,
requesting prayer warriors to pray for him because he had been accused of something that he did not do.
hmm
In my opinion, as a female that has 3 daughters, I would want it investigated. I would want some type of findings. It has been put on the table. There's 8 people on city council, 9 with the mayor. I feel like it needs to be addressed. In my opinion, it has not. In my opinion, it has not. In other words, what I'm saying, if it has been addressed, it has not been addressed in my presence. So I don't know. I cannot swear to it. I don't know if they have been taught without me being included. But in my opinion, it has not been addressed. And I think it should be. Because if I was that person, if I was the city attorney, city manager, I would want to prove my innocence. And I would want to do everything that I could to prove my innocence. If it meant I had to take a polygraph, if it meant I had to be investigated in some other area, I would want to prove my innocence. I wouldn't keep saying I'm innocent and I don't have anything to back my innocence.
Right.
So I just feel like it's a disservice to this young lady. It's a disservice because it was brought to them and it has not been addressed.
Yeah,
Now,
and the young lady was relieved of her duties, I understand, right?
she was.
I don't think that's fair that she's been relieved of her duties, and this manager for the city you guys still have is still on, working. And then understand he's old and he's also the city attorney.
Yes, he is.
Isn't that a conflict of interest? I mean, it smells like one to me. Those two positions merging as one.
When I was all for it. I was all for it. We had a city manager that was leaving and we had to act fast. We had to act fast in order for the city to continue to move forward. So at that time, he was the city attorney. And then the resumes were presented. So the dual role part that he has, we discussed several factors. Like I said, now this part I have to be a little careful. But I said it in an open session. So I can feel confident in saying, if there's anything that will create a conflict of interest, there should have been an outsource. Now, with this particular piece coming out, and like I said, once again, he put it on Facebook. Then another city council member put it on Facebook. The mayor did not put it on Facebook. Despite what he said that she put it out there. No, he opened up his mouth. And as attorney, I would have thought he would have been a little bit more smarter than that. But he put it out on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that made it open to the public. So with the situation being like it is, we should outsource. And me and one other council member is all for it. It's just the other 6 are not.
Okay.
And it takes a majority.
Right.
And we don't have that power.
Yeah.
So if the community, when they look at this podcast and wonder why actions have not been taken, it's because 6 members of the council will not do what's right. And doing what's right is to call somebody from the outside that has no connection with the city attorney, city manager,
Right.
no connections with the person that are inquiring about their services. A total independent somebody to come in and find out what's going on.
That's right. Yeah. I looked once I got the name of your city manager, I looked him up on Facebook, and I saw the post he put on there about this situation here. And then I didn't see it But yeah, again, this Tyler Davis guy, he seems to be real biased against your mayor there. I mean, the way he writes, maybe the whole council, he's kind of,
So
biased against, and maybe it's a skin thing. I don't know. But he even said that there has been, let me see if I can find it here. There was some yelling going on at one of the meetings over this scandal thing that's going on with the city manager. So it seems like it's a problem within your city government there with this particular thing going on. I don't want to keep harping on that, but that really caught my attention when I saw it. I don't know if you can elaborate on that any, but yeah, this guy Tyler Davis, I mean, it almost like a soap opera the way I was reading it, the way he wrote it.
Tyler Perry couldn't have touched this.
That's what I'm saying.
Tyler Perry is a
Yeah,
brilliant writer, but I don't even think he could have spun this one.
hey, I wanted. Hey, look, the people of Henderson. I'm gonna put it on. There's a couple of Henderson Facebook pages out there. I'm gonna put this on there. Look, y'all need to tune in because this thing is getting a little juicy to me. So I'm subscribing, and Monday nights, hey Geraldine, you can. I'm gonna be watching. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm gonna give me a shot. I mean, you ain't give me a loud shout out, but you look over there at the camera at me because I'm gonna be watching. Okay, but I'm gonna tell the people here, y'all need to tune in on this. Number one, it's your tax dollars that y'all are paying,
Yeah.
y'all putting out there. If
Mhm.
you don't know what's going on, it's a good way to find out what's going on. You got people like Geraldine here. I've been knowing her I ain't gonna say all my life, but since I was 12. And hey, she's out there fighting for y'all. So y'all need to attend these meetings either in person or go on that YouTube channel and look and see what's going on. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and keep talking. But yeah, this dude Tyler Davis, he put it out there that there's look like some infighting going on. I saw your mayor. She looks like a leader, and this is just my opinion. Her type of leadership to me, she looks like she's a leader that leads from the middle. You got some leaders that lead from the front, some lead from the back, but she looks to me like she's right in there, in the middle, leading outward to, for the city. To me,
Well,
it's a good thing the way I see it.
let me speak on this. Let me speak on this the best way that I can.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many people that probably will not agree with me.
Okay.
And that's okay. That's okay. Because I won't put here for everybody to agree with me. So I'm all right with that.
Okay.
If she had been a white woman, if she had been a white mayor, period. All this that she's had, I don't think she would have it. And that's my opinion. That's the
Mm-hmm.
way I'm looking at it.
Okay.
There's been controversy about her being the mayor ever since before she won. Nothing in a lot of people in Henderson's eyes does she do right. I don't care what she tries to do. To touch a little bit on her, she had an organization that was helping with the organization was helping with homelessness,
Mm-hmm.
light bills, food. And you know how we as people do, and I don't mean
Don't leave out gang violence now, because I've
yeah,
heard some about that too. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I don't mean we as black people. I mean we as people, period.
Okay.
You go to an organization, whether it's social services, her organization, the Salvation Army, Franklin Vance Warren, to get assistance. As soon as you can't help them, they got all types of negative things to say
Mm-hmm.
because some people feel entitled and they feel like this is what you have to do for them because they need it. Some people actually need it. Some of them are just getting the assistance just because they feel like they have something else that they can do with that particular pot of money. So she has been facing all types of things ever since she began to run.
Mm-hmm.
This newspaper, on the other hand, like I said, anything that they can do or say to put a cloud over her, and most, not all, and I say that with confidence, they do not put a cloud over all the city council members.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some that they will.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, a lot of people have painted the picture like I don't know what I'm doing, like I'm a dummy.
Mm.
But I read. We get our package on Thursday. When our packages come out for the meeting, I read Thursday, Friday, 2 or 3 times on Saturday. I read it Sunday. And when the meeting come Monday, I done read it 2 times that day.
Mm-hmm.
I have good comprehension skills. Yes, where I work at does not show that I do. Sometimes what I say does not indicate that I know what I'm talking about. But I have actually forgotten more than a whole lot of these people know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I read, I ask questions. If I don't understand something, I'm going to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
But they feel like some of us don't know what we're doing. No, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to people that's been there 4, 8, 16, 18 years.
Mm.
Because we got people that have served at least 10 years or more. Is
that right?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like a career. It's like a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much about serving. It's about the press. It's about that little prestige they get. Mm-hmm. Being acknowledged and recognized as a city council, long-standing city council member.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Longevity doesn't mean anything if you're not doing it for the people. And a whole lot of people have personal agendas. And that's a problem.
Now those people come up, what's the term limit?
Okay, so there was a 4-year, it stagnates 4 years. 4 years. Mm-hmm. This is a set that's coming up this year. It's 4 seats that's coming up this year.
Okay. Now
then in 2 years there'll be 4 more seats, my seat and some others.
Uh-huh. Now, but those of you saying that's been there 16 years and all of that, I mean, don't their term run out in 4 years?
Yeah, and if nobody runs against them, guess what? They walk into the seat. Mm-hmm. Nobody should run in a seat that's uncontested. Whether you think you can win or not, go and put your name in the hat. Mm-hmm. Because what happens is you got these career politicians, because then it's no longer council members. You got career politicians that's sitting in seats because nobody runs against them. Mm-hmm.
Now, well, tell me then. I mean, what is it about those seats? Is it something is it that bad? Or what would cause somebody maybe not want to run for some of those positions that may come open? I mean, is it a good salary? You don't have to tell me what you make and nothing like that, but I mean, do you make good money as a city councilwoman or councilman? Or
you can say it like this.
And you don't need to give me no numbers, although people can look it up if they want.
I can promise you that with the headaches that come with it, mm-hmm. it's $2 with the headaches. Mm. So in other words, it's definitely not a get rich scheme. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we are offered insurance if we pay for it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. So what I can probably imagine is that some of these career folks that's been on that council a long time is probably some people that has worked that's they older folks. They've worked to a point to where they maybe got a good retirement out of that other job they had. They moved into that seat, and now they just sitting back cruising, and that's
Yeah,
what they do.
and the sad part about it,
Mm-hmm.
the sad part about it, in our charter,
Mm-hmm.
you're allowed to miss so many meetings. And some of them have exceeded the meetings, but it's nothing you can do unless you can turn a new council, because the people that sits there are the people that's making the decision as to what we should do about them missing meetings. We're
Okay.
not supposed to miss for 4 meetings, and some of them has missed 4, 5, 6 meetings.
Mm-hmm. They write their own rules and they
They write as they go.
giving out their own discipline. I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah. Mm. Wow.
So when you got 6 people that's not going to vote for somebody to be removed or reprimanded, what do? You just sit back and let them ride out the storm and hope that somebody else can come on board to release them of their duties,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because they're not. This, my issue with that is you got maybe 4 council people that go to different things that goes on in the community. Then you got those other ones that pick and choose what they want to show up to.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, I try to go to various things. I'm not going to push myself to go to a whole lot of stuff, especially with the heat being like it is.
Mm-hmm.
I know to keep my tail at home in my house so I won't go outside and pass out. Okay.
Right. Okay.
But you got some people that don't go to various things in certain communities.
Mm-hmm.
They don't show up. They don't feel like it's important.
Yeah. I see you out there doing some things on your, because you put a lot of the stuff that you be doing on your social media.
Mhm.
So I do see you out there moving around a lot, you know, in
It's,
the city.
you know, the mayor be all over she be
Oh
all
yeah.
over the continent. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's something I want to touch bases with too.
Mm-hmm.
Our people need to know how city government work. Our people need to know who holds the purse strings, and stop listening to these people that's saying the mayor is moving money to go on these trips. We have an excellent finance person. I can say that and feel confident knowing that he's not going to let anything go past him that he got the answer to later on. In other words, he is not going to throw himself up under the bus with you.
Mm-hmm.
And people are listening to these other people that are insinuating that the city paid for this. The city is paying for our training, and our budget is not good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I go to training. Not several of us, because I really and honestly can't say, but 3 council members and the mayor goes to training. The other
Okay.
ones don't go.
Mm-hmm.
But the city does pay for that. We get no money up front. Anything we spend when we're there, you know, we pay for it. Most meals are included in our trips. That somewhere along the line they're having food that they're feeding us, so the city don't have to pay for that either. But people sit back and assume that there's a lot of money in what we're doing. They assume that the city is giving us money to do training, and that's the most they give us. There are a lot of trainings and people that the mayor is affiliated with that has nothing to do with the city. And those people are paying for her trips,
Mm-hmm.
her room and board. But our people would listen to someone paint a narrative about what's going on when all they got to do is ask.
Mm-hmm. Now, these assumptions of misuse are coming from the people. I mean,
Some of them are, yeah. It's one in particular that I've watched their and I'll disclose that with you a little bit later on.
Mm-hmm.
There's one person in particular that sits back and paints his own narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, some people believe in him when they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But he paints his own narrative about what's going on.
Where is he putting it out at? Where is he?
He's putting it up. That's why I'm gonna disclose it to you after this podcast.
Because again, I'm gonna bring up this guy here, Tyler Davis, with his opinion column that he has. You know, that's a pretty big platform that he stands on there. That, like I said, he seems to me he's not neutral. You
No,
know,
he's not.
he's far to that other side. You know.
Yes.
But
you got to think about it too. His platform that he's putting out is put out to people that are geared to reading the newspaper.
mm-hmm. Right.
And I honestly and truly don't believe they have a lot of readers,
Mm-hmm.
either online or hard copy.
Uh-huh.
So the ones that do read it may tell the next person.
So I was about to ask you, the people that are, I don't know how the complaints come in.
Mm-hmm.
That's complaining. Where are they getting their information from? That they're wondering where's this money being allocated to? Where are they getting their information from? The barber shops, the beauty shops, the pool hall, the grocery stores.
Let's start with the barbershop.
Okay.
Let's start with the barbershops.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe. I know, you know what? In the time that we're in now, men have gotten where they gossip more than women.
Mm-hmm.
Those that have little to nothing to do, they gossip more than women. Then you have those conversations with those little private groups that some people don't know that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They spread it in their little private groups. Whether it's AMS, the dog food place, these other little groups that come up, or even a country club.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's where they paint this picture to make it look worse or bad. A lot of the information, I mean, if you want to find out how much they spent on me,
mm-hmm.
it's public record. Go to the city, pull the records. Hopefully
Mm-hmm.
you can get them in a timely manner, but pull the records and find out how much did you spend on her travel.
Mm-hmm.
That's public records. That's taxpayer money. But some people will not do that. They'll sit there and listen to the assumptions.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I feel like with all of what's going on in the city, with all the stuff that's going on in the city, some things should be prioritized, and they are not. The city, the 6 members of the city council decided they wanted to take taxpayer money and hire someone to investigate the mayor.
Mm.
There was one quote that went in. One quote. All of a sudden, those 6 people said, we're going to use this attorney to investigate the allegations that the city manager said that the mayor had done. City manager, city attorney. One of the senior attorney was going to cost $310 an hour. The next person in line was roughly $290, and then the last one was like $100 and some an hour, plus travel, printing out paper, and all this stuff. But you're going to take this money and investigate the allegations that the city manager said against the mayor, but you won't take this money and investigate the allegations about the sexual thing that's supposed to be going on with the city attorney. That's twisted. That's messed up.
Right.
That's truly messed up. If you're going to take taxpayers' money to investigate, and this thing that I asked him when he was talking about all this stuff that she's supposed to have said and supposed to have done, because I have a problem with that. When people come to me and say, somebody said, you said, then how do they feel comfortable enough telling you what I said? Did you not ask them what they said? So I asked the question. Well, you're saying all this that she did, but what did you say and what did you do? Because you're only telling one side of the story. You're not telling both sides.
Right.
And every time she says something, she's lying, according to him.
Mm-hmm.
And 6 members of the council done bought into it. So that's the reason why we can't move forward. That's the reason why the city is looking like it's looking. That's the reason why Eddie Hicks project has come to a standstill. Because I feel like the city manager has too much power.
I want to ask you about that Eddie Hicks project, but I want you, but this other thing you just talking about, yeah, that now, how long has it been? You've been there all your life. How long has it been since the city has had the kind of leadership that it has right now? And I'm talking about, I mean, Henderson is a predominantly black city. Am
Yes,
I
it
right
is.
or wrong?
Yes, it is.
Now, for a long time, I'm quite sure it was being run by white folks.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
So right now, the people
And
of
that's the problem.
city,
That's the
the
problem.
people of Henderson has the opportunity with the leadership that it has right now that has some good things happen. But go ahead, go ahead.
That's the problem. And I'm going to say it and I'm going to keep on saying it until somebody finally hear me. When people lose power, they lose their minds. When they are used to doing things the way they are used to doing things, and somebody come in and tilt that vote a different way, there's an issue. Henderson has never had a black mayor. Henderson never had a black city attorney until this last one we had, and then we got this one. And I'm going to say it publicly. I made a mistake. I made a mistake by voting for those dual roles. I apologize to the citizens. I messed up. I'll take my wrong. I'll take what I did wrong. Yes, I made a mistake. I wish I had never done it. Because now I see the hell that we are going through. I see how the scales have become unbalanced to the point that it looks just like it did years ago. There's no productive progress. Yeah, there are little things that may be happening, but in my opinion, it's not productive. It's just something to kind of like shine it off a little bit. And our citizens, I feel like most of our citizens that went to the polls and voted for the mayor were looking for better things. And we were moving in a direction. We were moving when we had the last city manager. I mean, he was slow about doing some things, but I must commend him because there was a lot of things that were going and the things were starting to look better. Now, somebody done put up that wall and that we're not doing anything. The Eddie Hicks project was something that the mayor initiated. I thought it was good. Nothing has been done with that project since this city manager. No push. And I feel confident as being the person that I am. Somebody is in his ear asking him or persuading him not to do anything that's going to make this council look good. That pisses me off.
Right. Let me ask you this before I get too deep away from what we were just talking about. Now, like you said, the mayor is black, city manager is black. How many of the council members are black?
5.
5, and it's a total of 7,
8.
8, total of 8. So And before that, before it started turning dark, was it all white?
Um,
As far as you can remember back.
it was okay. The last council consisted of 3 blacks and 5 whites. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, 3 blacks and 5 whites.
I mean the last one before that. But I
But
mean
before I came,
before you came. But see what I'm going, and you may not know. I want to go back to maybe when I was running around there with my nose snotty.
mhm,
What I'm quite sure it was a lot brighter than it is, now back then.
yeah, the sun
What?
was really shining back then.
Right. So and so what the people need to realize is, again, look, we showing us a little progress, but with all of you black folk up in there, and I won't make this a black and white thing. I really don't. But it looks like somebody just trying to make y'all look bad. Maybe it's a plant in there somewhere. I don't
It
know.
is. It it's not just one.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing about it, what you expect out of some, you expect out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But when they start looking like you,
Right.
and you realize that a promise or something has been made, either a promise or money or something has been made. I mean, I'm gonna put it out there. I might catch hell behind it later on, but it is what it is. Somebody done paid somebody, or somebody done gave somebody a promise.
Mm. Okay.
And I can stand on that one because I have seen it. I've seen it so many times. I have seen people that went in gun ho with trying to do what's best for all of us. And we have been in a city this size with the amount of people of color that's here.
Mm-hmm.
We should have much better than we do. I've seen it. I know how it works. I was born on a morning, but it was not this morning.
Mm-hmm.
The same people that were pushing their personal agendas, and I could name them, but I dare not name them because I might have to do some stuff. But anyway, the same people that push their personal agendas in the forefront are now doing it from the background
Mm-hmm. Mm.
because they have a problem with who's sitting there.
Right. Exactly.
And I told somebody, because of my integrity, I'm riding around here in a 79, 80 Honda. Okay. I had a 2020 Road because I had eye surgery. I had to let it go. So I had to have something to drive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm renting my house. I'm paying bills the best way I can. But the one thing that separates me from some people is I have integrity. I have a big mouth. You can't buy me because I can promise you, if they thought they could buy me, I will have a 2026 in my
Mm.
yard
Mercy.
and a paid for house.
Mm.
But they know not to approach me because I have a big mouth. Once you
Mm-hmm.
do that, I'm gonna tell it.
Okay. Okay.
So I like to be able to live with myself. When I look in that mirror after I go to a council meeting, I sleep good at night
Mm-hmm.
because I won't compromise. If I don't believe in something, I'm not gonna stand up for it. But when I do, I'm gonna stand up for it to the very bitter end. And that's where the problem is. If you can't be bought around in Henderson, if nobody can influence you in Henderson, and I feel like the most of what's going on with that city council, in my opinion, some promises were made or some money was passed.
Mm.
Then on top of that, there's that jealous spirit, that spirit of envy.
Yeah.
Well, how is she the mayor? Why is she the mayor? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's all those different personalities are matching. It's all in that room.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see. This is my third time running. The first time I ran, I was in the Flint Hill area, I couldn't win because our people didn't come out to vote. But this area right here, those people that know me, now I stayed in Flint Hill for years, but the people that knew me knew that I was going to open my mouth. They knew that I was going to say it. If it came to my head, if it came in my head, it came out my mouth. So I guess that's the reason why I'm running. I mean, you know, why I ran and the reason why I won.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Geraldine. Really, I don't know. I mean, I know you're a fighter. The people of Henderson need to realize that you're a fighter, and they need to know what's going on. You putting it out there.
One thing I want to leave with saying is, believe none of what you see and half of what you hear. Trust the process. Just know those things, those pictures that people are trying to paint, get to know what the painting is about. Don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you hear. Test and see yourself. A lot of people that sit right there with you will paint a picture. Listen to those people that say, I don't have a problem with the mayor. I don't have a problem with the city council. If they're telling you that, they have a problem. But trust the process.
Right. And
whatever you do, if you sell your soul to the devil, he's gonna come back and get what he think belongs to him.
I know that's right.
So I'm doing the best I can. I'm gonna always speak up and speak out. But I just need y'all to just trust. There's an election getting ready to come up. If those people that called you hoodlums, those people that don't think you should have the ability to talk, was one of those people that did not receive you when you came to that last city council meeting, make a difference. Change them. Run. If you're in those areas, find out when the filing date is. No politician should be a career politician. No person should run unopposed. So you have just as much of a chance to run and win. Throw your hat in the ring. Because for a lot of those positions that you may throw your hat in the ring, you could best believe, my feelings like yours, I'm going to support you.
That's young or old. And if your
young
neighborhood,
or old,
one of those, if you live in one of those neighborhoods that's looking like shit, you definitely need to come on out there and and run.
Because everybody say, I'm doing this for the city, but you ride around and look at the city and our neighborhoods look like they look. Take a ride down 158 on toward Old Oxford Road and tell me what the difference is.
Is that over there by where they got a golf course in that area over there?
Now,
how's that area over there?
Immaculate.
Okay.
Immaculate.
I know some people that live over there that I grew up with. They moved from over in the hood out there, and I guess a lot of the people that had control of the area, they probably done moved out, ain't they?
Yeah, they didn't want to. This is how I feel, and I might catch some flack behind it, but guess what? I'm up for it. When I was a little girl, they didn't want me over there.
Right.
I'm a grown woman, and I ain't about to go over there now. I don't attend none of the functions over there. They didn't want me over there when I was small. What I'm going over there for now? That's something I think about. When I was a little girl and there was a swimming pool, go over there and get in a swim. Are you crazy? Go over there and get drowned. No, I'm not going over there.
Yeah.
I don't go to nothing. I don't go to nothing over there. And don't get me wrong. I'm not, and I'm going to say this. I am not anti-white. But one thing I am, that hate part, I can't deal with that. I love people.
Right.
And if you show me a side of you that lets me know that I'm not accepted, then I leave it just like that. And I won't be accepted ever.
That's right.
I just want our people to get smarter. I want them to understand how things are actually running in Henderson. I want them to understand why things are not being done. Flint Hill needs to stand up and ask why Eddie Hicks project ain't been done.
They do.
It's enough people over there to say, okay, you all were going to build these homes over here. What's wrong?
Flint
Find
Hill
out
got a
what's going
Facebook
on.
page, and I'm putting this on the Flint Hill Facebook page for sure. Yeah, that's right. Calling you out, Flint Hill. Yeah, yeah.
The person that stopped the project, it wasn't the mayor, it wasn't the city council. So you do the math. Ask why nothing's been done over there. Find out what developers or what people stand to prosper if certain things don't happen unless they have a part in it. Because you can best believe one thing, and somebody's gonna be big mad at me, and I'm okay with that too. There are people sitting in the background that stand to prosper for certain things that goes on in this area. If a developer come in the area, some people's gonna prosper money off of the developer building houses. Okay.
That's right.
You got people that's sitting back, pulling strings in the background. Y'all got to be careful who y'all trust.
That's right. Let me ask you a question, and then I'm gonna let you go. Look, that Eddie Hicks project, right? Now that was renaming it. Was it the whole Winder Street or part of Winder Street?
It was part of Winder Street when you come down from Kessler Temple, right as you get ready to hit that curve.
Right.
Going up Winder Street toward Charles and Clark.
Right.
It's right in that curve, right there where Miss Oscar May used to stay.
Okay, Ron Floyd and Don Floyd, right in that
part
area.
Part of that property is in there. That I think it's a spot in there. I'm thinking, don't quote me on it. I'm just thinking that spot is still there because I don't think they wanted to sell it or whatever. Or they might have had other interests in it.
Right.
But it's right in that spot where Miss Floyd Ron and Donna Floyd used to stay.
Okay, so they gonna rename this part of the street there, and were they building something there also? Something was supposed to be built there.
They were gonna build some. They was gonna build some houses.
Some houses, actual houses or apartments. Condo houses, individual houses. Well, hell, what are you talking about? 2, 3 houses? You can't get 2, 3 houses. That's not too much land there. But
some further back.
Okay, so they was gonna build from there back over to what is it, Montgomery Street?
Close. It's close. It's. I think, and I'm not sure because I haven't been back there in a while. But I'm almost certain, probably about 8 or more houses could have been built, especially if they were the stand-up houses. You know, the straight-up houses.
Yeah, yeah.
It may not have been built width-wise, but height-wise, they probably could have put about 8 or more.
Okay. I don't know if you know, I did a last year
with a drone.
Yeah, did you see that drone video? Okay, because you can see that property on. That's what I was gonna say. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it, and you can see that property that I'm asking you about there, as far as that lot there. Okay, okay.
But well, look, just imagine that area, and let's talk about these areas briefly. You got what people used to call Goose Hollow, Water Street in that area.
Right.
Parts of Andrews Avenue. You got West End, Happy Hill, Mobile, and Flint Hill.
Right.
Look at how they have been overlooked. Look at what has happened in those areas that has been beneficial to the community. They are underprivileged because they are overlooked. Major construction. You got, now if you go down to Water Street, you got a whole lot back there where Beacon Light used to be. That could be used for development. These areas have been forgotten about. Why have these areas been forgotten about?
Mm-hmm.
That's a question that people need to ponder on. Why have these particular areas been forgotten about?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure if you think about why they've been forgotten about, you'll understand. Because people were getting mad at the Hispanic community for coming into the areas and building up houses. We had that same opportunity.
That's right.
We had the same opportunity. Some of these houses sat there ever since we were probably teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in, revitalized, did whatever it was they needed to do.
Yeah.
And then you got those greedy developers that have been building houses and making promises about how they were going to come into the area and build houses. And I like the word income based. I don't like the affordable piece, because what's affordable to you may not be affordable to me.
Right.
Some of these houses need income based. I mean, some of these neighborhoods need income based housing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying affordable.
Right.
Affordable to who?
Mm-hmm.
Affordable to who? Because a
Yeah.
lot of these people in this area can't afford to pay a mortgage of $1,200 or more dollars, but they paying rent that much. But you got to think about what affordable means and what income based is. Because somebody working at McDonald's cannot pay $1,500 for a house.
That's right. Yeah.
But look at the areas in which these developers are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
These developers that's been coming into Henderson all along. There were developers that came in and all they wanted was the land to build the houses.
Right. Right.
And some of them were going to be income based.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't none of that happened. Ain't none of that happened since the last city manager left. Do the math.
Mm.
Do the
Yeah.
math. If the last city manager was working on these things and things were moving, and we have a new city manager and things are at a standstill, think about what's going on.
Right. Well,
Think about what's going on.
like you said, now either he got too much crap going on his plate right now, or like you said, somebody may be sliding some money around.
Some money is being
You know.
some money is being slid around, or you're too focused on the wrong stuff.
Right. He got a lot of wrong stuff going on. If that's part of his duties. So,
Yeah.
but you know, people he working for y'all. He working for you all, people of Henderson. So,
I can't say that.
huh?
He ain't working for me
Well,
because I'm the minority. He's working for the six. That's the majority.
okay, I got you. But the people of Henderson, y'all, they got control, right? If they get their behinds out there and get involved,
The difference.
get involved.
I know it takes. In the first year, I heard y'all ain't doing nothing. Well, first of all, some of us never been on the council before, so we had to figure out what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
When President Obama went in, he stayed there 4 years. Some of our people went to the poll and they just voted for him. They didn't give him no kind of help in Congress or Senate or nothing. They just went in and voted for him. So that means he had 8 years of trying to get things done. We go in 1 year, you're telling us nothing is being done.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're at a year and a half later, almost 2 years, we're at a complete standstill. And that's not my fault. That's not my fault. That's not Michael's fault. That's not the mayor's fault. Because the majority rules.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as the majority is following the path of what has been laid before us before, we'll never move forward. As long as we got people that have personal agendas, we'll never move forward. As long as we have people that can't put on their grown folk attire and walking around here in Pampers, we'll never move forward. And that's what's going on.
Right. That's right. So, people of Henderson, you all need to get smart and get involved with what's going on in your city. Attend those meetings, watch them on YouTube, whatever the case may be, so you can understand what's going on, and then get out there and use your power as the vote to get some of that dead weight out of the way. Geraldine, that's what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't want them to let what happened the last major election have an impact on them. We all know what happened on the last major election.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what happened on the last major election. Don't let that influence or discourage you. Well, don't let that discourage you from not voting in your local elections, because those are the ones that have the biggest impact on you,
Mm-hmm.
the most direct impact on you. So just know that you got people that want the city to stay in the same spot it was 10, 12, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But you all trying to move forward.
Yeah.
Trying to move forward. We
Trying
got
to move forward.
holding you back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Let's I'm gonna give you one more go. You got one more thing you want to say before we hang it up.
My decision to come here to this podcast was my personal opinion as a representative of the people that elected me, but not as a council person. I'm speaking from personal feelings. I'm speaking from how I see things have gone, and it's not to be associated with not any job or organization that I am affiliated with. This is an opinion of a private citizen.
All right, y'all. There you have it. This Geraldine Champion, my friend, been knowing her all my life.
Yep.
And again, I'm gonna ask you one final question, and I'm gonna hang it up. Would you be willing, if anybody's out there that's looking at this and they want to come on and sit down and talk with me and you, would you be willing to do that?
I sure will. And if they want to get in contact with me, tell them to hit my Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
And if we need to talk one-on-one, I'll give them my phone number.
All right. Y'all heard it. Okay. All right, Geraldine. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Sure. You have an excellent rest of your day.
Thank you. Tell the family I say hello.
I will. I'll tell Evelyn because I know we be talking.